If you're getting tired of your striker-fired polymer handguns, you might be interested in this. Hey guys, Akimbo Chris from Crusader Armory TV. And today guys, we're going to be reviewing a new handgun, something that I just picked up, which is the CZ P-09F Nocturne. I recently picked this gun up because honestly guys, I'm 26 years old, so I've only really been able to own handguns for the last 5 years, and most of the handguns that I've owned have been your striker-fired pistols, your Glocks, your Smith & Wessons, your SIGs, things of that nature. So I really just wanted something a little bit different. So introducing the CZ P-09F Nocturne. This is a full-size gun from CZ that is hammer fired, and this is a double action design. So you do have a double action design where you can still pull that trigger even with the hammer down, or you can cock the hammer and then you get the single action trigger pull. So this is a lot different than a lot of the guns that I'm used to shooting. I have owned a double action before, which was the H&K USP 45 Compact, but I wasn't a big fan of that gun. However, when I laid my eyes upon this CZ P-09F, it really caught my attention, and their new handguns that they're coming out with the optics cuts and a lot of the little different upgrades have really interested me. So I went ahead and picked this up. This is a full-size version, so the F is the full-size version. So today guys, we're gonna be shooting it, we're gonna be reviewing it, and kind of talking about it from a perspective of somebody who generally shoots mostly, primarily striker-fired handguns. So this should be interesting. All right guys, real quick, let's go over the design and kind of the feature set of the CZ P-09 Nocturne. So you do kind of got this very sleek design with a dark finish up here on the slide. You got nice front slide serrations, which is very helpful with a gun that has a low bore axis such as this. And that's one of the big features of this gun, and one of the reasons I want to pick it up is because if you guys know anything about handguns, the lower your bore axis is, usually the more it mitigates recoil and the more accurate the gun will be. So this gun does have an extremely low bore axis, so it should shoot pretty soft and shoot pretty flat. So I am excited about that. As far as the stippling on the grip, the stippling is pretty aggressive. I do like it, and they do have replaceable back straps back here. So depending on the size of your hands, if you're a giant or whatever the case may be, you can change out that back strap to kind of change the grip of the overall firearm. However, for me, I do like it. It feels pretty natural to me, so I probably won't change that out. This gun does come with a optics cut. As you can see, we do have the CV Life green dot up here on the top. Shout out to CV Life for sending that out for testing. We'll be testing it a little bit today. So you can mount any of your RMSC optics, which is a big plus for me. I don't buy handguns in 2025 that don't come with an optics cut on them because I think it's just nonsense. This is gonna help you out substantially. So also, in addition to an optics cut, you do get a very nice set of iron sights. So this is one of the biggest selling points for me when I picked this gun up, just to feel it and get a feel for the overall ergonomics, that I saw it had a nice set of metal night sights. Now these aren't tritium, so they do have to be charged by light to glow, but from what I can tell in the dark, they work pretty well. I've had this gun for about a week or so, so I have been kind of testing it out, and I do have a few rounds to it, but I really do like that 3-dot system. I think it's nice, and for the price point of this firearm, I mean, you're looking at somewhere around 500 to 600 beans. I mean, not a lot of guns in that price point come with any type of night sights. I mean, your standard Glock comes with those plastic sights from the factory. So, in my opinion, that's a big plus. You also do have a full-size light rail, so any of your full-size lights should fit right up onto this CZ P-09. I have the NFG light on there. Bought this a while back to test it from my local gun shop, and it just fits very, very nicely on the CZ. So as far as mag capacity, you're looking at 19 plus 1 in this firearm. So a total of 20 rounds standard from the factory, which is a significant amount of rounds. The Glock 17, you know, you're looking at 17 plus 1. Some of Smith & Wessons right around the same. So with 20 rounds from the factory and almost a flush fitting mag, that's pretty impressive. So you're getting a lot of capacity in this handgun. As far as the trigger goes, showing you guys it is empty. You do have a double action design. So with that being said, for something like carry, this is gonna be extremely safe, because with a double action design, you essentially have that hammer decocked, so there's no way the firearm can actually go off and set off the round unless you completely pull that trigger and pull that hammer all the way back, which is probably not gonna happen by accident, because that's about a 10-pound trigger pull. But as far as the single action goes, it's not bad, not bad. There is a lot of take up there in that trigger, but overall, it's not terrible. It's just not gonna be as good as some of your like aftermarket striker fire designs or something like a 1911, but you really get that safety aspect of it, and that's the biggest thing with a double action design. So other than that, guys, it's kind of what you see is what you get. So now pretty much all that's left is we got to shoot it. We got to run it through some real world tests to see if this is a viable option if you're looking for something different. If you're like me and you're getting tired of just shooting your normal striker fired handguns, your Smith & Wessons, your SIGs, your Glocks, and you're looking at something just a little bit different, is this a viable option? Well, today we're gonna figure that out. So let's get into the shooting, and I'll stop blabbering. All right, guys, so the first segment of testing, we're gonna test accuracy. So I'm gonna shoot at a few different distances to see how well we can group with the CZ P-09, because I really think that's where this gun is gonna excel, because one, the size of it is a 4.5-inch gun, and also that low bore axis. I have put a few rounds to this already, and from what I could tell so far, it shoots pretty flat. So I think we're gonna be pretty accurate out here today with it. But let's see what the groupings look like when we put them on paper, because that's what's gonna tell the story. I forgot that I loaded more than 5, but we'll take that. Let's look at the group. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like I had 8 loaded. So we got 8 right here in the center. So he hit his heart. So, I mean, that's not bad. And I wasn't necessarily taking my time with it either. The recoil impulse is definitely soft. It is a full-size gun though, so that's to be expected. But that low bore axis definitely helps with accuracy. Just keeping those shots right in the same area. So just first shots, my first impression is this kind of feels like a 2011 with a double action trigger. The trigger is a little bit weird on it. Like I said, guys, you do have a lot of take up. We are clear, but you do have a lot of take up here in that trigger before you hit the wall, and then you hit the wall, and then you pull. So you just kind of got to get used to it. The way that I've kind of taught myself to shoot with it is just pull through it. Don't think about it too much, because if you do, you'll probably flinch and miss your shots. But overall, it's not bad though. It's not a bad trigger given that it's double action. All right, now we're back at about 15 yards. I'm gonna aim for the head. Oh, I pulled that one. Okay, I know I pulled one for sure. I literally watched me pull it. I think I hit right above him holding the gun. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 in the head, and I know for a fact I pulled that one. I felt it. So that's just on me. All right, leave it in the comments. I'm a terrible shooter. It's okay, but guys, look, I hit him right in his shoulder bone. So if he was pointing that Glock at me, he would have dropped it. I would have disarmed him. So I'm actually more skilled than what you think. I can definitely tighten it up if I slow it down a little bit, but let's just go ahead and step her back to 25, because I have high hopes for this gun, guys, because the first thing I did when I pulled this out the box is take it back to 35 yards and hit these still targets. So I think that I could do pretty good at 25 with the CZ P-09. It's definitely accurate, so for like a range gun or something like that, a target gun, or a full-size gun if you want to set it up for something like a duty gun or something of that nature, something you're going to carry in a holster on a battle belt, then it may be a good option, especially given that it is double action, so it is super safe. All right, let's see where we're at. I think I might have pulled one of them. It's the trigger. I'm not used to that trigger yet, so sometimes I expect the wall, expect the break, and it's not there. So that's definitely something you'll have to get used to with this gun if you're used to shooting striker fired handguns, especially if you're used to shooting like aftermarket triggers like I am. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I did pull one up here, exactly like what I thought. But I was aiming in this area, but at 25, that's all hit. So if this was a chest area or something like that, I would have hit that. And that is not bad with a handgun, guys. I know a lot of people out there, they're gonna be like, oh, well, Honest Outlaw can shoot 100 yards. I'm not Honest Outlaw, so the results that I get are probably gonna be closer to the results most of you guys out there would get, because 25 with a handgun is not as easy as what a lot of people think, but it's definitely a lot easier when you got something like the CZ P-09 with that low bore axis and that 4.5-inch barrel. It definitely helps a lot. But with a micro handgun, it gets a lot harder. But that's not bad at all. Not a great grouping, but again, we're at 25 yards. I'm just happy we got all hits on the paper. Now we're at 35, the ultimate test of accuracy. I wish we could step back to 50 out here, guys. We just don't have enough space. Four out of 5, not bad. Not bad at all at 35. I mean, that's quite some distance to this handgun, as you can see, and that's not a huge target. So I think as far as accuracy goes, she passes the test. I mean, this gun's stupid accurate. Stupid accurate. I would say this is comparable in accuracy to something like a 9mm 1911, but obviously this has a polymer frame on it, so it's going to be more along the lines of something like a 2011, but just with a slightly worse trigger on it. All right, guys, real quick, a quick shout out to our clothing brand, the Modern Day Crusader. As you can see, I'm wearing here, this is the Warrior King design, which says,
I am the way, the truth, and the life, John 14:6.
With a depiction of Jesus from Revelations, him riding in on the white horse with fire in the eyes. We want to make sure that we are empowering those who consider themselves a warrior of God with this clothing line. So we'll be dropping it later on this year. Please stay tuned for that. One of our biggest purposes with this clothing brand is to help you guys remember the scripture and to feel empowered every single day when you throw one of these shirts on, to know that you are empowered by Jesus. You are empowered by Christ. You can do all things through Christ. So this is just a reminder that you are a warrior of God, and you should stay strong in your faith and do not let evil compromise you. All right, so now that we've tested stationary accuracy, let's do some more real world scenarios. So we're gonna do a couple draw to fire drills. Timer will go off, I'll draw out the holster and take a shot at the gong. So we'll see how quick we can get it, get a feel for the overall ergonomics of the gun, and just see how accurate she is when you wanna run her a little bit quicker. We'll do some on single action, and then I'll switch it up and do some on double action, just to see how it changes the drill and the times.
Shooter, understand the course of fire?
Yes, sir.
Stand by. 1.6.
Okay, not
Pretty
bad.
good.
Not
On
bad
average.
for the first go.
1.2.
1.2, okay, we're getting close to sub-second already. I mean, the single action trigger pull is really not bad on this gun. It is a little bit weird at first to get used to, but once you kind of figure it out, I mean, it's pretty predictable. But it's not going to be as predictable as something like your striker fired handgun.
1.3. 1.2.
Okay, quick.
You're averaging 1.2, 1.3 so far.
All right, let's do one more on single action. We'll switch it up to double action and see how much it kills my times. But it's safe, guys. It's safer that way, because this gun does not have an external safety on it. So the safety is that double action design. So if you're going to buy something like this for carry, for me, it's just going to be a range gun, but something for carry, you would want to carry it in that double action configuration. That way it's safe and the gun's not going to accidentally go off and, you know, hit you in the genitals or whatnot.
1.3.
Okay. Not bad, not bad.
Pretty good.
All right, let me load a few more rounds. I'll load, we'll do like 3 on double action. Here it is. Someone who's primarily used to shooting striker fired handguns and single action 1911s. We're gonna do 3 rounds, draw to fire at the gong in double action. So about a 10-pound trigger pull. This is gonna be probably pretty rough. So let's see how much it kills my times.
2.8.
Oh, we got a malfunction. Show it to the camera. Just didn't go back in the battery. Oh, missed. Pulled it.
Too flat.
Pulled it. I mean, as you can see, guys, looks like my accuracy's going down. The times are increasing. I'm not used to shooting that double action trigger at 10-pound trigger pull. So if you are gonna carry something like this, definitely make sure that you train on that double action. Oh.
3.2.
Ugh. Are we gonna leave that in the video?
Got to.
I mean, guys, real review. I mean, there you go. I am not a fan of that double action trigger pull. I mean, like I said, one of my first handguns I ever owned was an H&K USP 45 compact with that double action design in it, and it was kind of the same way, but that was a 45, so I wasn't hitting anything with that double action, and that's what made me not really like the gun. But it is safe, so that's what I will say. It's probably one of the safest ways to carry is having that hammer down. But as far as like being quick and accurate with it, it is probably going to slow you down if you don't have the right training, which I don't. But for me, this is really just going to be a range gun, a target gun, because it's just stupid accurate, so I'm not too concerned about that. But overall, guys, just taking the first initial shots, I do really like the way the gun feels. The ergonomics are real nice, the grip texture is real nice, and the gun just feels super smooth, and the recoil impulse is very, very nice. So comparing this to other options on the market, at the price point it comes in at, I think it's really, really hard to beat. You can get these from anywhere from 500 doll hairs to 600 doll hairs. I don't know where you can buy them at, but it seems like that's the price that they usually go for. And you compare that to something like the CZ P-09F, which is kind of similar, you know, double action design, accurate gun, or you compare it to something like the Beretta 92, which is something a little bit similar as well. And you know, this is coming in significantly less than both of those guns, depending on what model that you buy, and it comes with an optics mount on it. So that's a big plus in my opinion. So if you're looking for a double action hammer fire design, you know, this is probably going to be one of the cheaper quality options on the market for sure. And so far it feels really good. All right, another real world scenario drill we're going to run this through is a Mozambique. 2 to the body, 1 to the head. So let's see how quick we can do it with the CZ P-09F. Oh, we got another malfunction.
Oh.
Slide didn't go all the way back in the battery. Jesus. Okay. Tolerances on something like this are going to be a lot tighter than your Glock, Smith & Wesson, SIG, anything of that nature. So the dirtier these guns get, the more prone they're going to be to malfunctions, because the tolerances are a lot tighter, so you get that more premium feel. But overall, the dirtier they get, the more they're going to be prone to malfunctioning.
.65.
Not bad for a new gun. So it looks like we got 1 right through the spine, effective shot, 1 right here in the shoulder, and then 1 in the brain. So Mozambique, 2 to the body, 1 to the head. Not bad at all for my first go around. Let's run it one more time and see if we can't speed it up.
3.65.
I definitely go a little bit quicker, but that trigger reset is getting me a little bit. So this time I aimed a little bit lower, 1, 2, and then center shot on the head. So as far as accuracy goes, even though it wasn't the quickest drill in the world, it is an extremely accurate gun. So with that being said, I mean, we're only standing at like, you know, 7 to 10 yards, but not bad at all for performance. Where I aimed is where the gun hit, and that's what you want to see. All right, guys, now we're gonna run a build drill, just warming her up, kind of testing out the ergonomics. 6 center mass to the target as quick as possible. Let's see how quick we can run it, because I think the biggest downside to running this gun fast is going to be that trigger reset, because it definitely has quite a lengthy reset on it.
.49.
That's slow. I'm telling you, that trigger reset, I feel like I'm letting it go all the way back to China. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I did have 1 low, but you get the point. pretty good, all center mass, took out some lungs, hit the heart. Dude's no longer breathing. He is no longer going to be a menace to society, guys. No more of this pointing the gun sideways or anything like that. We gotta take menaces off the street, okay? Because he's probably gonna hit somebody's cat doing that type of shit. So now we're gonna do the OG 3-position drill. Usually with most guns and red dot setups, I can run this between 9 and 12 seconds. So let's see if we can get close to that time to see if it's as fast as other guns that I usually shoot on the channel. Tom?
10.5.
Okay, not bad. The trigger is tricky, guys. Again, the trigger is a little bit tricky on the CZ P-09, especially if you're not used to shooting double action. It's just trickier. So maybe not as quick. To me, again, this is more of a range gun, something that's meant to be super accurate that I can take back. But I mean, not bad though. 10.5 seconds, that would be effective and not bad for this drill. Plus, I feel like I'm running a little bit slow today, so you know, it is what it is. Now I want to test the reloads on the gun, because some guns, the mags don't drop free, or the ergonomics just aren't good enough. You're trying to reach over and hit that mag release and you can't. So let's see how well set up for reloads the CZ P-09 is. One thing I did notice doing that reload, I wasn't going for a super quick time, just kind of getting a feel for it, is that the slide lock here is a little bit far to reach with my thumb. I can kind of reach it right now, but once the slide is locked back, as you can see, I'm trying to push down on it, and it is definitely a little bit difficult. So I had to come back up with this hand and then let it loose. But that's not necessarily a problem, just a difference in training that I'll have to kind of work through here, but just something to take in consideration when it comes to ergonomics. That's the first problem I had with it, was trying to come back up and hit that slide lock when I was going back to fire. So let's run it a few times and see if we can't perfect the form. Not bad, a little bit quicker, but yeah, again, I try to go up, hit that slide lock. My thumb's just not reaching quite. But maybe that's a me problem. Maybe I'm just too small. I'm under 6 foot, so a lot of people would consider me small.
Gotta get bigger thumbs.
Yeah. Time to pull a grand thumb. Oh, malfunction. That might have been me. I might have been locked up on that slide release, but I do just want to document it for the camera. Initially, when we first brought this gun out here, we did have a few issues with it feeding within like the first, 50 rounds or so. But after the first 50 rounds, it pretty much ran flawlessly after that. I do think that there's a few times where I'm coming back up with my hand and I'm locking that slide lock, and that's what's causing that issue there. So you just have that low bore axis, so there's less room to put my finger on the slide or close to the slide, so I'm just initiating that slide lock. But that's training, guys. Whenever you buy a new handgun, even if you shot every one of your other handguns a million times, you definitely want to train on that platform, because if not, there's little things like that where you may be used to another gun, you jump on this, you're using it for whatever reason, or you're carrying it, and then you're not prepared because you've never trained with it. So now, while we're talking about the cons of this gun, I do just want to mention really quick. You guys see I have a red dot mount on this thing now. For whatever reason, and CZ, I hope you're watching this video, they used red Loctite on the optics plate, okay? So I used the tool that came in the box to take off that optics plate. I was able to pop loose the left screw, but the right screw on the right side, I completely stripped the crap out of, and then had to take it to my local gunsmith to get that fixed. So that cost me an extra $40 for him to extract that screw out of my slide, because CZ used red Loctite. You usually don't put red Loctite on things unless you're expected to cement them in there. So just a heads up, if you do look at a CZ P-09 and you're gonna take off your optics plate screws, please make sure that one, you have the proper tools. Don't use the tool that comes with it because you're more likely gonna strip it. And two, I would probably heat up these screws before you start to try to torque them off, because you want to break that Loctite. I didn't do that and I ended up stripping the crap out of it where it was basically beyond repair. But shout out to my local gunsmith, JWS Gun Repair. If you're in the Lee County area, Sanford, Cameron, Carthage, Fayetteville, definitely hit him up. He got this back to me same day, fixed it for me, and I was able to get this gun back in action. So just want to notate that. One of the big cons about this gun is going to be the fact that the optics plate for me was literally seized and stuck on there. So, all right, now cameraman's gonna shoot it and give his first impressions.
Grip, I like the grip angle. Grip angle's pretty nice. Try one in single action, and I'll try one in double, see how I like it. On double action, it feels like you're pulling a wall of a brick house. Single action's pretty good. You got a lot of take up though in single. Double, not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's just gonna take some getting used to, because for me, you know, you're pulling that heavy trigger. It's very easy to pull the gun slightly off the target, especially if you're aiming at something smaller like these gongs over here.
Yeah, I noticed that in double action. When I was pulling it back, I was like shaking a little. I'm like, I got to take my time with it. Because I was watching you, I'm like, it's probably terrible then.
But it seems pretty accurate though.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest thing it has going for it. It's an accurate handgun. Just to close this one out, my overall opinion on the CZ P-09. For someone who's coming from striker fired handguns and, you know, 1911s, I mean, this was definitely a learning curve for me. That trigger definitely slowed me down and messed me up in a few of the drills, but it's just practice at the end of the day. If you're gonna carry something, regardless of what you're gonna carry, you should definitely practice with that platform so you can get used to it. Obviously, I haven't practiced with this very much, and we can see that in my performance out here. But comparing it to the striker fire guns that I own and that I shoot often, I will say that I think I would still prefer to carry one of those over this gun. We did have some malfunctions out here and there, and just since I've gotten the gun, like I said, the first 50 rounds or so, we did have some failure to feeds. They were just getting stuck on that feed ramp. I'm gonna guess that has a lot to do with just the tolerances here, and if the round doesn't sit right in that chamber the right way, then it will cause this gun not to fully go back into battery. So with that being said, we did have a few malfunctions with it, so it seems like it's a little bit less reliable than something like your Glock or Smith & Wesson, which is to be expected with a gun like this. I mean, it feels very premium, guys. I mean, the fit and finish, CZ did a really great job with this design, but again, the dirtier it gets, the more prone you're gonna be to failures, and this gun is pretty dirty at this point, because I believe after today's video, we probably have 300 or 400 rounds through this firearm. And not with the cleanest ammo either. We're using bulk, cheap ammo. So maybe it's a little bit more picky than those guns, but overall, as far as shootability, I mean, it's a very shootable gun. The recoil is negligible. It is very flat, and it is very accurate, especially at 25 plus yards. And I think that's where this gun really shines, is with its accuracy. It is an extremely accurate gun, and it would be even more accurate if it had a single action trigger in it. Now, I understand for safety why they did the double action design, so I'm not hating on that at all. It's really just my training, but I don't think that I would prefer something like this over your standard Glock, Smith & Wesson, or SIG. They're a lot easier to customize and kind of set up the way you want, And something like this definitely has its place for the right person, but I'm probably not that person. Now, I am gonna keep this obviously as a range gun because it is a stupid accurate gun. We were hitting shots at 35 like no problem. But like I said, the reliability just doesn't seem like it's on par. And overall, there's a few things with the ergonomics that are not my favorite. But it's a usable gun and it can definitely be effective in the right hands. So don't get me wrong, I think CZ did a great job with this design, but I don't think it's enough for me to convert to carrying something like this with a double action design on it. That double action trigger pull is just absolutely horrendous to me, and I'm definitely gonna probably miss my first shot of what I'm aiming at. But that's not why I bought this gun anyway, so it really doesn't matter. So overall, I'd probably give this gun a 7 out of 10. Not a bad gun, definitely has its use cases, definitely probably right for the right person, but for me, I'm probably gonna stick to my striker fired handguns as far as carry and things like that. So with that being said, guys, I definitely wouldn't shy away if you are looking for something along the lines of a double action design. And if you're gonna carry it, you really need to train with that double action trigger pull because it's about a 10-pound trigger pull, which is substantial. You're basically pulling the wall of China down whenever you're pulling that trigger. The round capacity is really good. You got an optics cut, so there's a lot of good features in this thing. But yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it, but I don't necessarily love it. And that's just kind of what I'll leave it at there. So if you like this video, guys, please help us because YouTube hates gun content. So like, subscribe, comment on what you think about the CZ P-09 below, and please stay tuned for more content coming your way. That's it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.